Hi guys, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today is Sunday the 21st. Happy Father's Day to all my followers that are fathers and to the family who have fathers and fathers that so on and so forth. Happy Father's Day to everyone. If you are new to my channel, head down there, hit that subscribe button, or maybe it's this way. I don't know because I'm just too tired to know. As you can tell, today's background is bed. I'm in bed. I can't bring myself to getting out of bed. I went out yesterday and I shouldn't have, but I did anyway for my really good best friend. And now I'm stuck in bed because I don't feel very well, like at all. So, hi Kim, hi Vicky, hi Leanne. So I figured, why not just hand sew? Since you guys have seen me hand sew before, why not hand sew while I'm stuck in bed? Because that's what I do when I'm stuck in bed now, is hand sew. So that's what I'm going to do and chit chat with you guys. Hi Jim, hi Joe, hi June and June. Thank you. Yeah, I shouldn't have went out yesterday. It made me feel worse. I know better than to go out and stay out of the house longer than an hour, and I was gone for like 3.5 hours. So I'm not me, and I cannot get myself into being me. So I figured, and I'm late obviously because I'm just too tired to do anything. So there's a bunch more coming on. Hi, Suneda. Hi, Suzanne. Hi, Linda. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Joy. So yeah, today is hand sewing in bed, and we can just chat for a little while. I don't know how long I'll last. I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at me, but I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open today. Like, even if I needed to keep them open, I'm sleeping a lot. I'm just pooped mentally, physically, and just but bleh. there's no good about how I feel at all, and it's hard to hide when I feel this way. So I might as well just be this way with you guys here on the live stream. Joy, I am sick. I have valley fever and I have MS, and the valley fever is my body isn't recognizing it, so it's like making a big impact because I have MS, and it's affecting MS symptoms and causing and wreaking havoc. And now I'm suffering from going out yesterday. Like most people, especially people with fibromyalgia, I have fibromyalgia too. If you go out and do something, you have to take things slow. You can't just go and go and go. It's impossible. Well, I went out yesterday and been in bed since I got home. I haven't done anything at all. I'm just too tired. And the things that I have done, consist of hanging out on other people's videos and watching online stuff, because there's nothing else I can do because I don't feel very well. I can't bring myself to unfeel this way. Like on a normal day I can, but right now I cannot. When it's just MS problems alone, I was able to fight and push through it. But since I'm out of breath and can't breathe barely, that's the topping things off, and it sucks. So you look like you need to try to sleep. I was just sleeping, Kim. I've been asleep for like the last 3.5 hours, and then I got up a little bit after 5 and realized, oh shoot, I have to do my Sew Sunday. You guys can't go without seeing me. Even just one day, you'll think something is truly super wrong if I don't come on. So it's best if I come on and let you all see me, know that I'm here, and we can hand sew and chat. So it's because I have, Vicky, I have a lot of inflammation right now. The doctor prescribed medicine that the pharmacy does not have to help me cough the inflammation out of my chest. So it's developing pneumonia again, but it's really inflamed around, especially because the test they just gave me, it's really inflamed around the nodule. It's bad. It's super horrible in my chest right now, in my left lung. So lung sarcoidosis, and I get it. Yeah, it's horrible. Can't you get some oxygen? Even 1 liter would help. Probably. I haven't asked the doctor for any. I haven't really felt the need. Hi, Luann. Yes, it gets bad. Everybody knows. Samantha, we will miss you, but we also want you to take it easy and get rest. I know. And I'm still going to come on, whether I feel like crap or not. You guys get to see me in the good and in the bad, in the hyper and in the slow. So this is one of those bad and slow moments. But we're going to hand sew. So I will show you guys now that there's a bunch of you here. My stack of hand sewn blocks. There's a lot more than some are pressed. Some I had gotten to press, but some I haven't. I think I'm at 60 now. I'm going to count them right here for you to show you. They're my Omniac episode because I was cutting up scraps. Let's see how many we have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. So I'm at 63 4 patches so far. They're not very big. They're 6.5 inch squares. So they're not very big, but my goal is to make 100 of them now. I started with a small amount and I took a picture and posted it in the group when I laid it on the floor, and that was when I was at like, I don't know, I think I was at like 28 blocks or something like that. I don't know. My goal is to make 100 or more, enough to make a lap size quilt, because I have a feeling there's lots of hospitalizations in my future. So I think having a hand sewn, and I will be hand quilting it, I think that this project will be able to lay on me as I hand quilt it, because that's what I'll be doing. So, and even then it can still be my drag it around everywhere I go. It'll be my quilt that just goes with me on the go, because it won't be too big, and it's special because I made it myself while I've been sick, and I only started this once I was diagnosed. So I mean, I didn't tell you guys about the diagnosis at first, or maybe that episode was the episode I told you guys about it, but yeah, I started this when I was sick. So now I'm going to keep going while I'm sick, since the sickness will never go away and I'm stuck with it for life. I'm great for the action to ask for it. I could ask and see. It might help me. We'll see. Oxygen I used. I see the PV, and so far I don't have any, but I'm sure that and they will come. Hi, Anne. Finally made a live one. And it's not that I've been busy. I've been in bed a lot, Kim. Sorry, you aren't feeling great, my Anne. I try to at least do 1 or 2 blocks a night. That's been my lately thing. So that's my trying to get them done. So I'm gonna push this back just a little. Like I said, I'm in bed. Some of you have seen my bedroom, some of you have not. I'm gonna grab 2. There, I'm sewing them together. I make the 2 patches first, which I could have probably just made rows and rows of these, you know, and then hooked them together. But I decided to go the 4 patch route. That way, when I hook them together, I don't have to use as much of a distance of thread. I've already been through 2 spools of the one that I started with, and a second one that was kind of low of thread already, and so and I just keep this little set with me, all this stuff next to me, and when I get to 2, I pin them. My hand sewing isn't that great, and this you can see the blue thread going across. My stitching ain't that great. I'm not very, I don't know. I don't think anybody's is going to be perfect though, unless you do hand sewing all the time, and that's it. But I pin it in the seam. That's how I've been getting like the perfect centers. Surprisingly, I'm like, oh my God, these come out better than when I'm piecing. Look at that. They come out better than machine piecing. I guess it's because I'm lining them up really good. I don't know. They're like perfect though. To put here in the center more of the frame because the posts are covering your face. Let's see. Okay, hold on. As long as I don't move my legs. Is that better? And if you see spray painting on my wall, for those that are new to my channel and have not seen my bedroom, it's backwards and reversed right now. But when my husband proposed, he proposed by writing "Marry Me" on the wall when this room was empty. Before we were at my house. I had a big 5-bedroom house with lots and lots of space because I had 4 kids when I met him. And I didn't want to leave that house, but we couldn't afford to, between us when we decided we wanted to be together and live together. We couldn't afford to have 2 houses. So we tried to sell this one, but he thinks that it's a sign from God that this house didn't sell. It was on the market for months and months and months and months and months. Almost a full year before we just said screw it, because we were still paying property taxes and the electricity and stuff over here so that it can be shown and the AC can be on so that the people could come show the house. And we were still paying all the bills and stuff. So to make this house our own, because we really didn't want to live in it, he decided to propose to me inside this house so that this house could be our home together. And then to make things even more better, we got married in the house as well. We turned our dining room area into living room area into a wedding hall, and I walked down the aisle with my girls. They helped me walk because back then I was in a wheelchair, and they helped me get down the aisle, which was the hallway, and we got married in our house. So that's why this wall has not been painted over. He thinks that's special. It probably is, but it's been a long time. It's been on the wall for 7 years. I want to paint over it or cover it or something, but he don't want to. I think after all this time it looks tacky. That's why I have all my pictures and stuff hanging around it. But so I double my thread. For those that are curious, you can see my thread here. I double it and then tie a knot at the end. I think it's been more secure. A couple of blocks in the beginning that I made were single thread, and I think that it's more secure just doubling it, for anybody that's curious about hand sewing. So I make a knot. Right now my hands are on the shaky side, so the knot making is not very easy. And then I take my block and I start at one end, making sure everything is lined, and I poke right here at the edge, a 1/4 inch away, for those that are curious, from the edge. After a long time, you get used to it, even using a machine and then switching to hand sewing. Um, I'm used to that 1/4 inch seam and where it will end up. And then I go through it again, and then I make a knot. And I kind of hold the thread for a second until it goes all the way through, because sometimes it gets knotted. But this brand of thread that I'm switched to now, this all-purpose Coats and Clark dual duty thread, this one I haven't had to knead the stuff that Kim sent me, the wax for thread wax. I haven't needed it for this brand. This brand has actually been really slidey, really good on its own, probably because it's newer too. A lot of those threads that were in my drawer are newer. And then once I make my knot, which I have, you can see, I start right here at the edge, like next to it, and I go down to one side, and then I come back up to the top, and then I rock my needle is what I've been doing. So down to the back, up to the front, like 1/8 of an inch away or less, and then back. And then I use my middle finger to pull it towards me. So I like make this rocking. This is how I've been getting them done so fast. And I just rock it back and forth. So this is what the needle looks like. Hold on. With all of this on here so far. Can you see that? So all is going on. It looks like that. And then when I have enough on here, after I've poked it enough times, then I pull it all through. And then I just try to keep this flat like that. So there's my stitches. They're way better now than they were when I first started. That's for sure. So that's how I do that. And I just do this over and over and over. And then since I started, I've changed a little bit when it comes to my centers. I've also been doing like a back stitch kind of thing. My hands are so shaky right now, it's making it hard to do this. Maybe I don't need to go in as many times. And sometimes when I pull it to where it looks like that, and then I'll just use my fingers to straighten it back out again. So anybody that wants to learn how to hand sew, it's not that hard. I thought it was going to be super hard, but it's really not. And I am now going to put this other screen right in front of me because I cannot see comments as good. So, okay. All right, there was Anne. With the camera. Okay, I saw the Ampy. Sorry, you're not feeling well. 27 and only 8 likes. Come on, people, thumbs up. Thank you for the reminder, Anne, for everybody. And Kim also. I am in a Hexie swap and detest hand sewing. My hands are so swollen and numb. LOL. Son came up, grandson staying for a week. Hi, Kathleen. I am hand sewing from bed because I am sick and can't bring myself to get out of bed today. It has been a really rough day today. Bless you with. Yes. Hi, Norbell. I like the dual duty for hand sewing. Well, I found that this one is better. I tried using this Talon. It's old thread too, though. I'm just grabbing threads out of my thing, and I was trying this one. This one really sucks for hand sewing, let me tell you. And then I got this other all-purpose dual duty one too. I brought in here just in case I need it. But so far, I'm using the blue right now because it seemed like it had less on it. So I'm trying to use the ones that have less on it. All right, let me reline this up so I can show you. Now that I'm close to the center, can we see this? Let me tip the camera down. How's that for a second? I'll tip it down. I'm going to sit up as best as I can in front of the camera. And I'm going to go in. And then I'm going to come out underneath that pin real quick first. Like that. I'm going to pull it back out with my fingers. And then I'm going to go in again and come out a little bit away from the pin like that. And then I will continue to rock my needle the rest of the way.
We're gonna go.
Okay.
Did you get a cinch paper?
Yeah.
Okay, so he knows he should be there?
He should be there. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is around there. And then by this point I pull out the pin because I have a bad habit of poking my finger from keeping it there and or getting the thread cut up underneath it. And then I just rock the rest of the way. And any thread that I have left, I don't actually take it to another block. I just go back the opposite way again. Hi, Mary. Trying to see where I am. I almost gave up. No, I'm in bed. That's why I was on late. I didn't even wake up until like, it was like 5:15-ish. I haven't wanted to do anything or get up or eat or anything today. Your fingers ever get sore from the needle? Try Liquid Skin. Has a little paintbrush to apply. I use it when doing red. Okay. So far I haven't had a problem. My only problem is having the shakes in my hands. That's been the tough one. So the times that I do sit and hand sew is most of those times it's when my shakes are pretty bad, like right now. And it doesn't bother me to poke myself because I guess the sensitivity is not there right now. Like with most people, I think every time they poke themselves with a needle, it hurts, but my, I guess, nerves are sending signals elsewhere right now. So it's like I could poke myself a bazillion times. I don't know why, but my hands are just shaky. So maybe that's why I don't feel it as much. So I'm able to poke my own fingers without using anything. It's not bothering me. It kind of feels like what my legs feel like though, to poke myself with a needle. But I have gotten it stuck in my hand. When I keep the pin in here, I got it stuck in the back of my hand one day and made it bleed. So I didn't get on any blocks, but I try not to get blood anywhere. And since I can't really feel it that great, I do bleed and I don't want to make a mess. So now I'm at the end and I just go through and tie it off. And then I'll go back the other way with the leftover thread so I'm not wasting anything. So once it's tied, I do 2 ties and then I just go back the opposite way. And I don't even do, my stitches are way far apart this time. I like literally just run the thread back into it. Like this, I bunch it all up and pull it through. And straighten it out. When I get to the middle, I still do a back stitch though. So I have really thick crossings right here in the middle on all of my blocks since I realized that I just do it this way. But they won't fall apart when I go to hand sew, that's for sure. Or when I hand quilt, I mean, when I make the quilt and put it together, they shouldn't fall apart. I'll look at the comments as soon as I'm back the other way on this. Sometimes I don't have enough thread to make it the whole way. Sometimes I do. We'll see. It should though, it seems like it. And if thread sticks up, which it does every once in a while, I just take and pull that one single thread. Well, look at it, I'm gonna make it all the way to the other side. Some people probably say that I shouldn't be doing it this way, but this is the way I've done it since I learned to do it. So when I get to the other side, I just do 1 tie on this side now because I've already went both ways and tied it off. And I poke my needle down somewhere out of the way. Snip it. It comes out so perfect every time. And then I finger press it because I'm not going to press everything with an iron until I'm completely done. So I just run my thumb down it. And look at that center. It's like perfect. Like every single time they come out perfect, better than on the machine. It's great. I'll just stick it on my pile. So that's what, 64 now, because I said I counted 63 earlier. Other people are still saying hi. Maybe you did too much yesterday at the baby shower. Yes, I did, Mary. I did a little too much at the baby shower. It was because I was out of the house and up walking around and moving and so on and so forth for way too long, almost 3.5 hours. Plus I drove there and it's across town and drove back. So it was a long day yesterday. Hi, Charla. Good one. Sorry, Dan. I've been bad for a week and a half. It didn't work on t-shirt quilt yesterday. Made borders and stuff there. Yeah, I know I started the other because I did the night before too. I did the Insomniac the night before the baby shower, and I don't think I really pushed myself that much because that's like my normal sewing speed, and my legs were already sore. But I think that probably contributed to my problem. At least eat and drink. I will try, Vicky. Right now, I'm drinking water. I'm not. Maybe because I'm so full on the chest is why I don't feel hungry. They know what's going on. For those that have just joined, I have a lot of inflammation around the nodule that's in my chest, in my left lung next to my heart. So it's putting a lot of strain. There's so much inflammation. The nodule literally sits right next to my heart. It is on the side of the lower left lobe of the lung on my heart. So my heartbeat's been different since this whole thing started. My oxygen levels have been lower. Like most people are between 97 to 99 on oxygen, and mine's like 96, 95. So I'm not getting enough oxygen. But I went to the doctor's last week and I have very, very low breath sounds coming from the lower sides of my lungs. He says it sounds good at the top, just wheezy, but the lower lobes sound really bad. So he sent me over for blood work and an x-ray last week. So I did that. I spent a couple hours at the hospital, and so they did that, and he called me the next day to tell me that there's so much inflammation. He's calling me in a prescription, which our pharmacy doesn't even have. I probably won't have it until, let's say, Sunday, so probably tomorrow or Tuesday, because they had to call it in special order. It's a medicine to help me cough things up, and he asked how I'm doing with coughing things up. I told him I'm coughing things up, but he wants me to like cough it up. So I guess he wants the medicine is to induce the coughing so that I can cough it up and spit it out, to get it out of me, because there's so much buildup in there, and it's just gonna irritate it, and the valley fever is just gonna spread throughout my body. And that was what they're trying to prevent, is it the spread of the valley fever, because it'll disseminate to both lungs, it'll disseminate to all the lymph nodes, it'll disseminate to bones, it'll disseminate to brain, heart, causing cocky meningitis, which is very bad. So they need to prevent that, and my body does not produce antibodies to fight valley fever off because I have MS. So my body is denying anything is wrong with it. That is why I keep staying sick, and I've had the pneumonia 3 times now since I've been diagnosed. Since my body is staying sick, they got to prevent it from going, because there's no way to know. It's not in my blood or anything. There's no way to know if I'm fighting it off or if it's even working on the treatment. And the treatment really sucks. My hair is falling out. I have dry skin rashes all over my body that itch so bad. And then the can't breathe thing and the easily exhausted and tired, that is 100% a big thing of having valley fever, and it sucks. So there's not really much they can do right now besides when I go back. They're going to call me tomorrow, or I'll call them before they call me and find out. I'll go in Tuesday and then we'll do another x-ray, even though the medicine didn't come in. So that's why I got a call tomorrow. Since there was no medicine called in, or that it didn't come yet, I haven't had a chance to cough anything out. So I'm trying for it, by the way. We're going to call, he's going to call and see how I feel. If anything, I'll end up in the hospital. We're trying to prevent that, but that's kind of where things are going. And the long conversation I need to have with the doctor about removing the lower lobe of my lung just to be done with it is coming soon. It was going to happen before this inflammation happened, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him about it. He wanted me to go to the hospital immediately for x-rays. So hi, Lisa. Maybe you need Insure or something. I had Insure this morning. Early this morning when I got up the first time, when I realized I didn't want to get out of bed, I had an Insure. That's one thing I can tolerate right now and doesn't make me feel super full and more out of breath than I already am, is drinking Insures, surprisingly. That's a good thing. And a banana. I always have a banana when I have an Insure. So I try to stay somewhat healthy food wise. Sounds so much like my autoimmune disease, sarcoidosis. Well, MS is an autoimmune disease. The valley fever is not, but it's a lifelong battle. So now I have double lifelong battles to deal with. Everything's a lifelong battle, though. Living life is a lifelong battle. We do the best with what we can, make the best of what we have, and just go from there. So that's what I'm doing, except from bed today. That's where my whole quilting journey started anyway, was making the best of how I feel, getting me off of medicine, and all this pain and problems. I could still tell you 100% that I am off pain medicine just because I'm sick with this. I do take muscle relaxers though. They help me breathe, actually. It relaxes everything. So, and since your heart and lungs are muscles, it's affecting that. So it's actually a positive thing right now. But can't take too much of them because then it just makes things worse. So. Turn it down. I want you guys to be able to see my hands. Hi, Dewana. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is how I feel. Anybody have any questions about anything? Topics? Talk about other than being sick? Or telling me that I'm overdoing myself and pushing myself? I already know I am. I know you guys care though. That's why I came on still, even though it was after 5 and I'm in bed. I still had to come here. You guys are like all my angels out there, you just hang out there and in the world and talk to me and keep me happy. And I need that. And since I'm super tired, it's what's keeping me awake. And I need to stay awake for just a little while or else I'm going to be awake all night long, which sucks. I don't want to be awake all night long because then I won't be able to do anything because I'm stuck in bed. And I get headaches if I watch too much TV. So, hi, Eileen. Is there writing on the wall? Yes, I just explained it. If you rewatch the video in a little while up to where you came in, it's where my husband proposed, was here in the house. It says "Marry Me" on the wall. Very creative, actually. It wasn't your typical "Marry Me." He was down on one knee, though, like most men should do, with a ring in his hand. And that ring is actually built into the wedding bands on the outside. So that center ring was my engagement ring, and then I got 2 wedding bands, and I actually had them all soldered together to make one ring, and we sealed the deal by getting 2 wedding bands. It looked stupid with just the one, so we went with 2. So yeah, he proposed in this house, we married in this house. This is our house, even though to this day I still want to move because I want more room for my quilting, but there's only 1 kid left in the house. So as soon as my son moves out, I kind of think I want to knock the wall between the 2 rooms out so that I can bring my long arm in and have one big, huge, gigantic quilting room. That would be awesome. We'll see. And it won't drop the value. It'll just be a 2-bedroom house instead of a 3-bedroom house. And it'll still have a closet. So yeah, it'll just be an oversized bedroom. And then we'll have an oversized walk-in closet for the oversized bedroom, which would be kind of cool if we do go that route. I will tell him when he gets back from the grocery store. Do you ever sew with brushed cotton for quilts? What's brushed cotton? I don't know the difference. I just know cotton is cotton is cotton. This says 100% cotton. I know that that's what it is, but I don't know what brushed cotton means. Mary sat on an airplane once by an old German lady. She said her husband and daughter died, and she said that we have to make the best of it. I always try to remember that. Yes, that's all we can do. Sewing is such good therapy. Yes, it is definitely therapy. I notice it during nice sewing, quilting, crocheting. I wish I knew. I have stuff to crochet and knit. I have knitting needles thingies, and then I have lots of crochet hooks, all different sizes. I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly, but I do have some skeins out there. I just never use them. I wanted to try, but I never did. I could never get the whole loopy thing down to keep it. And then when I got beyond that part, I forgot by the time I went back to it next time. And the second thing was I only knew how to make a long string. When my daughter was trying to teach me to go back the other way, I was like, what am I doing? So I take 2 hooks, this, what, and then put it through here, what? And she just like, okay, Mom, I'm not teaching you no more. And then the knitting, I couldn't understand that one at all. So I just gave, I didn't even, I looked at it and gave up. I said, I'm not doing this. But I do have this. Now I can hand sew. I always wanted to hand sew, you know. I've always been able to hand sew clothes. Like if a shirt got a rip in it, like say on a seam right here and it ripped open, I was able to hand sew that clothes, but it wasn't no fancy stitching. It wasn't even like what I'm doing now. It's just me, like, I guess would be considered a whip stitch, just to make it look good, but not so precious. It won't fit in your living room. What won't fit in my living room? My long arm. I'm not going to put the long arm in the living room because the girls will still be coming to us until they're at least old enough to watch themselves at home. So, because we're like family. And then even then, they'll probably still want to come over for slumber parties and stuff. My nieces, if anybody didn't know who I was talking about, the ones that you see on the videos every once in a while. So yeah, there's even grown up and them knowing better, I still don't want the long arm in the living room. The living room is like a community space. I'm not going to take it over. So that's why I took over a bedroom. And when my son outgrows that in 3 years and hopefully moves out at 18, I'll take over that room too. But I'll have to knock the wall down because it's not 12 feet long. The room is only 11. Well, it's 11 3/4 inch long. And I can knock my frame down in size if I wanted and bring it in. My frame will go to 8 feet right now because it's 4 foot sections. So I can make it an 8 foot frame, but then I wouldn't be able to do king size quilts. I would only be able to do up to like, I think it's like 80 something inches or something. So I decided against breaking it down into a smaller frame. And I'll just wait until kids are gone all the way. And then all we have to do is take a wall down, and we really don't need to take much of it down, just like a large opening of it, long enough for the long arm. And that way I have a huge quilting space, because I went across the decision a bazillion times about bringing it in here into my room, because this room is 17 feet long. The long arm would fit in here perfectly with plenty of room to move around, but then I would have no floor space if I brought all the rest of the quilting stuff in here. So if you think about it, I still would have plenty of space, obviously, but not enough to lay things out. I would have to have a design wall. I would have to have this. I would have to have that. The long arm would have to be away from the wall a certain amount of feet, because I also have to be able to wheelchair around it for those times when I'm in my wheelchair. So technically things have to be a specific way. So if I just combine those two bedrooms, they literally are on, I mean, I've showed you guys before, those bedrooms are neck and neck. They're hooked together. Tear down the middle wall, move some plugs, and it would be the perfect huge room. And the house will still have value, even tearing the wall down. Let's go back up. I know there's got to be an answer to what was asked. Okay, well, that's what I did today. Bad, I didn't sew, but I did spend time with some family. That's good, June. I haven't even done that. Today's Father's Day, and I haven't even spent any time with Scott. We will, though, after he gets back from shopping and I'm done here. We'll do movie time like we always do. So this time it'll just be movie time right here in bed, because we have a TV in our room. Well, my room, because he doesn't sleep in here. I love to watch you. I'm glad you came on. Thank you, Suneda. Patricia, you have, oh, yeah, I have 2 20-piece jelly rolls with only 5 colors in them. That black fabric to go with what I can do. I feel bad asking, but trying to get your mind out of the funk you're in. 2 20-piece jelly rolls, so that equals a regular jelly roll with 5 colors in them. Black fabric to go with what can I do? Feel bad asking. Well, you could make what I made in the Insomniac Live the other night. I made a rail fence in like 2.5 hours of the whole live. If you watch the whole video, I just made I didn't do any borders yet, which I will get to when I feel better. But I just did that. It's actually, I only had 7 colors to work with, 7 different pieces, and I put it together by keeping everything in order, which worked out really cool because the quilt came out half and half. So all the oranges and greens were at the top half, and then all the blues and purples were at the other half. And you can see the rest of the colors, like the green chevron went through it, and they're in sections of 3. It was like 3 sections that had the blue, 3 sections that had whatever. It's because I kept it all in order instead of random piecing it, but it actually worked out really good, surprisingly. I like it. I don't care if anyone else don't. I actually, when I showed Scott the next morning, I was like, look what I made. And he goes, wow, that looks really neat. How did that happen? I was like, oh, because I was keeping things in order, and it worked out really good. He was surprised. He says it kind of looks like the game of Tetris. So he named it, it's being called Tetris, and it's not even done yet. because he says it really looks like the game of Tetris, the way the pieces throughout the whole thing line up just right. It looks like the Tetris blocks. So that is what it's being named, is my rail fence Tetris quilt. And it's not even done. All right, here's another one done, and I didn't pull out that darn center thing, so I'm poking myself right now. Put my needle down out of the way. Open this up. And these blocks are not all, I'm not paying attention to where colors or anything are laying, by the way, guys, on my blocks. I'm just putting 4 squares together. There's no order to anything. Some might have a solid next to them. Some might have a color that reads solid next to them, like this next one. You can see it reads solid from far away, but it's really not. So, but look at those centers. They come out perfect every time. Like, seriously, like, they create this nice, straight, perfect line both ways. So this one has cactus in it. For Arizona, yay. No, all right, let's see. It's sheets, 100% cotton, but with a downy texture. I think I've used those as backing before, June, for on the long arm. If it's sheets, then yeah. I use a lot of the 100% cotton that feel differently for a long arm backing. Why? Because it feels really cool. I like the feel of it on my hands, and I'm pretty sure everybody that's purchased a quilt from me that ends up with a sheet on the back loves it, because it feels like it's not like a blanket or a comforter. When you have it on you, it's softer, and then the quilt, the rest of the quilt with the batting and the quilt top add the, you know, the weight and the comfort of being covered in a quilt. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I've probably used it then before. Watch Melanie Ham on YouTube. No one else made sense until I watched her for crochet. I watch Melanie Ham, but I don't watch any other videos other than quilting related ones. Same with a lot of other mixture channels like the Crafty Gemini and stuff. Most of the videos I watch from all of them are usually quilting related ones, because I could never get myself into the crocheting. One of these days I'll try it for you guys though, but I have to read about it or watch about it. Maybe I can get Lexa or Maxine to do it, because both the girls know how to do it. So, oops, I didn't land on it. I'm trying here to get these little knots to land where they're supposed to. And I always double knot. This one's getting triple knotted, but that's okay. I love to, Charlotte, Tiffany, worried when you didn't come on in normal time. Kept checking. I was afraid you were feeling bad. And if you guys hear any weird sound in the background other than the air conditioner running, it's my belly. It's not happy with me right now because I haven't eaten. So it's starting to gurgle. But I don't feel hungry. It's not a hungry gurgle. It's just a, I'm mad because I have nothing to digest gurgle, I think. At least I'm here now. Better today. It's better today than yesterday. I'm doing better. These days, I went to the cemetery and talked to my uncle and brother. Came home, pulled weeds, and I was better. I got things set up for long term, for long term. Okay. I brushed cotton is similar to light flannel, so that's probably what my bed sheets are now. I don't even know how to show you guys. Yeah, it's really, really soft. Like, it feels like flannel, but it's not. It's cotton. My bed sheets, which are now covered in thread cuttings because I make a mess, but it's really flannel like soft, but it's 100% cotton. I love the feel of these, so that's probably what this is then. Brushed cotton. I didn't know it had a name besides cotton. See, I learn new things when you guys are on with me. I remember hearing terms years ago of an aunt of mine while visiting it. we did get to meet our new great grand pup today. His name is Ankin, and he's an English golden retriever. Ooh, that's cool. That's times neighbors wonderful. I think T took over her whole house. I wish, if I could, I would, but I mean, I wish I could take over my whole house. My husband probably wouldn't really care too much. He wants, as long as he has room to get around and walk around, or it looks clean, because I think I've explained this to you guys. He's like a minimalist, and I'm not a hoarder, but I do like things. I like knickknacks and stuff. So I wouldn't call it hoarding. I just have a lot of stuff. And so the combination makes our house look like, he calls it a hoarder's paradise, but it's not. Like, let me turn this camera around so you can see a shelf in my room, just so you can get the general idea. This is not hoarding. So see, one shelf has books, one shelf has a mixture of whatever, one shelf has mixture, and then another one has VHS, and another one has files. So he calls that hoarding, but I call that clean. So I have lots of frames around the house, but he says, oh no, that's hoarding. It's not hoarding. He's just crazy. He's a minimalist. He doesn't like a lot of furniture, a lot of knickknacks, a lot of anything. He likes one chair, one TV, or a couch if you need a couch. When I met him, he had one couch and a recliner and a little, like, I don't even think it was a TV stand. It was just a little thing that had he didn't even have a flat screen TV. You gotta think, this was like 8 years ago. He had just an old fashioned big old box TV, and it was all sitting, like he had a couple movies sitting on the floor, but mostly got stuff from the library. He had a bed and just one dresser on the floor here in the room. He didn't have it on a frame. It was just a mattress and a box spring just on the floor. He never even used this room. The other 2 rooms were completely empty. And he had a couple things in the garage, like tools and stuff, and that's it. And he had, like 4 plates, 4 bowls, 4 spoons, 4 forks, 4 knives kind of thing. He didn't have, like, he had like 3 pots to cook in. He didn't have much of anything. Typical guy, especially for a bachelor, because that's what he was back then. So, and now he's with me, and he came over to my house when I had the 5-bedroom. Each kid had their own bedroom, and I ran a daycare, so had kids' toys everywhere. And there's still kids' toys, but not as much as there used to be. And yeah, he came from nothing over here over to my house, and my room was packed. I always had a seating area, which I still do here. I have 2 wingback chairs in my room, so, which someday I will recover. Right now they're like a crushed velvet on them. I do not like them because they're green and they're ugly, but they're comfortable. I sit in them. I do sit in them. You guys have seen me sit in it before, because they are very comfy, but just ugly in color. They're putrid green, let me tell you. I like all colors of the rainbow, but not putrid green. But I've made them work for the last 8 years, 9 years in here. Well, they haven't been in this room that many years, but since I've had them, I've made them work. I'm making such a big thread mess here. I can't clear my throat at this very second, so give me a second. Got a huge bag of fabric ago, not long ago. I'm sure that I have some in there maybe here. So what kind of thread are you using? I'm using the Coats and Clark all-purpose thread. Dual duty. Says made in the USA. 274 meters, which is 300 yards. Coats and Clark. This has been the best one so far, this brand, like I was saying earlier. I don't like this talon that I have. I have a bunch of older threads, and some of them really suck, really suck. I've grabbed a couple out of the room when I ran out of the original that I started with, and then Kim sent me some thread, and you can see I used a lot of it. The thread, oh my god, what is it called again? I just forgot. Whatever. Thread wax. And I've been using that until I started using this brand to work with, and now this brand is actually really nice, surprisingly. Love the rail fence. Sorry, you're not feeling it, Tiff. I had something come up. Needed to go take care of. I'll continue sending big hugs of strength and wellness in Jesus' glorious name. Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, I saw it. Does look good. Mark. Just might try that. Thank you. Yeah, it's really simple, the rail fence, and if you move those colors around just right, even if you don't keep them in order like I did, at least you'll have 5 different colors running through with your background fabric of choice, and you don't even need that many strips, and you'll get, so far I'm at 57 inch by 57 inches. I'm at a square quilt. I was able to make a 100% square because I did pre-cut everything instead of cutting, sewing 4 strips together and then subcutting 8.5 inch squares. I just went and pre-cut everything, and I should have trimmed my blocks down. So if you do make it, trim your blocks to 8.5 inches, but I should have trimmed mine, but I didn't. Only because I usually skip a lot of steps, and you guys know that. So that's why I didn't. Power Tools with Thread just posted a video. You guys watch Becky with Power Tools with Thread? I get notifications all the time while I'm live of other people that post. And then I get them all throughout the night too. People that upload in the middle of the night like I do. Charlotte, bye everyone. I have to lie down. Okay, Charlotte, good night. Feel better. Autocorrect stinks. So you mentioned making a ladder to display quilts. What kind of design were you thinking of? How big? You know, I was thinking of using just wood. They sell at Home Depot this round wood. I guess they're large dowels. They have the big, huge round ones. They're probably like that big around. I don't know, what is that, like 3 inches? So they're probably like 3 inches around, maybe 4. They're like probably a 4x4 rounded off, kind of thing. But they have these long dowels. I don't know about every Home Depot having them, but our Home Depot has them. And they have these dowels. And then if we drilled holes, I can get smaller dowels and put them around it and make like a round southwestern style ladder. But instead of making it the width of a walk up for a regular ladder, like that much, enough for 2 feet, I would make it just a little bit wider and have Scott or Justin, because Justin's usually the one that does the wood making stuff around here when he comes to visit, have one of them put like a angle on it so that the dowel isn't sitting flat on the floor. Angle the floor side this way so it can lean, and then the top side that would lean against the wall, cut the back side off at an angle so that it a wall angle, but run the other dowels are like this big across it so that they that way they hold the weight of quilts, because they need to be sturdy. And then just like stain it a light color, like a, I don't know, like a chalky color or whatever, make it look like southwestern. I live in Arizona, so a southwestern style ladder would look really cool for my quilts to be on, and I don't mind it at all. So but yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of making a ladder with. If not, then the idea that was given the other night by using a bunk bed ladder. But that bunk bed ladders, when my kids all had bunk beds many times, they only had 5 steps on them. Some only had 4 steps on them. So, but I mean, you could probably use a bunk bed ladder, or an old wooden ladder and repurpose it by cleaning it up and sanding it down and repainting it and then bringing it in, making sure that it's nice and use an old wood ladder. But I was thinking dowels more than ladder style steps because of the fact that they are round and not square. And I think the quilts would lay better, a more display style lay better if they were on dowels and not square pieces of wood, if that makes any sense. So that's my ladder thing. I really want to do that. That I could probably do soon, just like how I was able to make my ironing board. We just ask around for our friends and family that have extra wood or any dowels left or anything left over supplies wise, and we can make something for me if we need to. Or we could just use 2x4s and dowels as the ladder parts. But oops, I got a little tangle going on here. When I get tangles, I usually just split this thread apart and I pull on the one or the other. One of them is going to be the one that tangled and one is not. There we go. Yeah. Untangled. Still nice and straight. Me, how big do you cut the batting to 5-inch squares for a day quilt? How big do you cut the batting to for 5-inch squares? You mean to put together a quilt as you go quilt for 5-inch squares? Is that what you're talking about, Dawana? Let me know and I'll get to it as soon as I see it. Easy way to know knot is wrap the thread around the tip of the needle and then pull the thread through the top and then down back. And doesn't make it square anymore. Okay. Easy way to not wrap the thread around the tip. I tried the thread around the tip of the needle knot. It doesn't work for me. I don't know if I can't grasp the concept of it or something. I don't know. It's a quilter's knot. Okay. How big? 5-inch squares for a day quilt. Where did I meet? I met Scott here locally. We met on Craigslist. I told you guys this. When Craigslist used to have a dating part or like, meet friends, and they had a communication other than selling and buying stuff. I know. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. I was just looking for a friend, someone to spend my insomniac nights with. So that's how we started hanging out, honestly, is because I was crazy and up all night long and I needed somebody to talk to. And it just turned into more. Spool, the one I cut them. Yeah. So if you're putting them in a quilt as you go, I would for rag quilt. Okay, now I see. 4.5 inches, and make sure you center it in it for your rag quilt. Center the 4.5 inch batting in the center, so you'll have a 1/2 inch all the way around. That way you can sew the seam, because when you sew, I guess I'll just pretend this is it and pretend that this next one is batting. Pretend it's smaller. You'll be laying it on it like this. Oops. You'll be centering it, so you'll have that much sticking out, like a 1/2 inch all the way around in the center. That way when you sew your next block for rag quilt, because your rag quilt blocks will go right sides together, so there's the batting in there, right? When you sew your 1/2 inch seam on that, you'll be able to have plenty to rag up on the ends, but you'll still have your thing. And don't forget to make a cross stitch both ways. I mean, you can stitch your rag quilt however you want, honestly, when it comes to the quilting part, but a cross stitch is pretty much the one everyone does, is just one stitch this way and one stitch this way across the block, and that's that. But make sure you center your batting up in there. And I've actually heard a few women in the past actually during the live stream say that they use the fusible batting on theirs so that they get it perfect every time and it lays better and nothing moves around or shifts so that they get the best of the ragging part as possible. So there's an idea for that is the fusible batting. They have fusible cotton batting in so many places. Or should I save it and see? Let's see. Let's see if I can do this. See, it doesn't knot anything. I pull it through, spin it around. I don't have much thread to work with right here. Yeah, that's not going to work. Whatever. I'm done anyway. Okay, I got that. Hi, Jane. Center the batting in the middle, sew to corner to corner. I was going to say beeswax. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, that's what Kim sent me. She sent me 2 of these. And I've been using it, just not for this thread because this thread seems to be going really nicely. Yes, I do. She makes my head spin on all her cut machine. Hi, Sue. Can't tell. You aren't well. Sorry, Tiff. It's okay. I'll be better. How tall will my ladder be? I'm not sure. I think I want floor to ceiling. That's what I was telling Scott last time I was talking about it. About making one when we were at Home Depot looking at because that's how I found out they had the dowels. I was looking in the section where I was looking in the closet, like, you know, those closet, you could purchase like closet unit things to build, you know, the shelving. Well, that stuff doesn't have to be used in a closet. And so I was thinking, well, what about if I replace all my shelves in my room in the future? I can't do it now. We don't have the money. And I was kind of just pricing things out. And I was saying, well, why don't we replace in the future all the shelves and turn that whole back wall into closets with doors? And the reason why I'm thinking with doors is because there's so much dust and I'm constantly blowing dust off of everything or vacuuming the dust off. When we do vacuum, we vacuum the dust off my fabric too. So closed door shelves might prevent so much. They'll make less dust, I guess is the word for it. So that's why I was thinking that. But when we were still looking that whole section of dowels, of course, and when he asked, well, what would you do with these? I said, well, we'd build a ladder. How would you build a ladder? Exactly how I explained to you. Well, as long as it's not too big, because he's thinking I make some big like closet style hanging rod thing, or he's thinking like an old fashioned quilt thing maybe, you know, that you stick on the floor that has the center and it looks like a clothing drying rack. He's thinking something like that, and no, that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking something that goes from the floor to the ceiling, but the first step, it's not really step, but the first part would be off the floor because I don't want the quilts to hang on the floor, you know. So, but I want it long enough to where the quilts have room to hang behind them. So the front part that you see, but the back part hangs. So there's room for it to just, you know, hang there. So probably floor to ceiling, which would be the best. And we have 7-foot tall ceilings here, so that's pretty tall. Use a decorative stitch on your sewing machine across each square. That would be cute using the decorative stitch. So use denim jeans, cut 6-inch form. Same. I just sew wrong sides together in rows and clip the rag quilt. Works great. Very heavy. Made 2 queen bedspreads, 3 twins. Wow, I have denim jeans. That's what I want to do with mine, is a rag quilt with them. 1, 2, 3. boyfriend did 4 layers of flannel cut like that and made baby quilts. Wow. All right, well, there's that one in the center of it. It come out so perfect. Oops, and there's some thread. It's all over my bed. So there's that. There's another one. They're not like cute, pretty, or whatever. Like I said, they're just whatever. I'm just sewing them together. So I've done 3 sitting here, right? I don't know. However many I did. I'm going to be done though because I'm starting to sweat really bad. I'm under the covers and I have all this stuff on top of me. So I'm going to move that over out of the way. I'm going to read what you guys have to say. Okay, let's see. No, instead of push. Okay. Bring you guys closer. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to add? Because I'm going to get off of here. I'm like starting to sweat and I'm feeling bleh. I don't think I want to sew anymore. I kind of just want to fall asleep. Or maybe eat and then fall asleep. Or maybe wait until Scott gets home to eat so he can feed me. I have this little bed table, which you guys are sitting on. So that's how I eat it. My daughter made it for me. So I just like sit here with my food on the tray and I can eat in bed. So at least you guys got to hang out with me for a little while. And so 3 blocks? Yeah, I did 3 blocks. 3 hand blocks. So 63, 64, 65, 66. So now I have 66 total blocks. And notice I had to count on my fingers. This means all right, everyone. Well, I thank you for joining me. And I came on late, but you guys really, you know what's going on here. So I'm going to do my best to rest and not do anything at all for at least another 2 days. There's no kids tomorrow, so I could sleep all day. Yay. You notice that brings a smile to my face. I don't have to do anything. So, all right, I love you all, and happy Father's Day to all of you daddies out there that watch. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. I have no schedule right now, so except for Sundays. And even though I was late, I was still here. So I love you all. Don't forget to subscribe that way, I think. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.